Report shows more than 3/4 of meat sold in U.S. supermarkets has antibiotic-resistant.
You think you can dodge risky meat by skipping a few menus. But antibiotic resistance doesn't care what you order. Superbugs spread through water, soil, even dust from conventional farms. That's why this video ranks 8 giant chains by their antibiotic policies, and why 6 Fs matter to you, even if you never touch their burgers or bowls. Watch through the countdown to learn where your safest options actually are. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Number 1, Chipotle. You hear Chipotle is the safe bet. No antibiotics, no growth drugs, clean sourcing. On paper, it looks tight. But is it bulletproof? No antibiotics ever means the animals were never treated at any point. 1 dose and they're out of that program. No routine use still allows preventive dosing in crowded barns when a vet signs off. That gap matters. And when supply runs thin, stores can pivot, pull items, or swap suppliers by region. Labels stay the same. The upstream rules can shift. Here's the truth. Chipotle earns a high grade for banning antibiotics and growth drugs and pushing better chicken and beef. Yet most beef still eats GMO feed, and it's not organic. That doesn't change drug rules, but it shows limits. Bottom line, ask staff about today's beef and chicken sourcing. Look for posted disclosures on site. Now let's test a brand that talks big but won't show its homework. Number 2, Subway. You've seen the pledge. Phase out antibiotics across the menu. Strong words. But a pledge without details is like a train with no tracks. You don't know where it's going or when it arrives. Where's the proof? No clear dates. No list of which meats are covered. No third-party checks you can read. That gap leaves a wide loophole for routine drug use upstream. The scorecard called it out with an F, tied to the lack of a clear public policy and goals you can verify. Here's the truth. The report says public claims didn't define supply-wide coverage or a concrete timeline. They also didn't answer requests to clarify their policy. That silence matters. Bottom line, until there's a dated species-by-species plan with outside verification by drug class, you can't confirm what's in that sub. Next up, a taco giant that treats policy like optional extra sauce. Number 3, Taco Bell. You expect a clear stance from a massive chain, but the fine print at Taco Bell leaves you guessing. Policies that sound strict on paper often focus on one species and skip the rest. Here's the truth. When a rule only targets chicken or bans medically important antibiotics for growth, it still allows prevention use. In crowded barns, that means routine dosing under a safety banner. The report flagged limited scope and slow movement toward full supply coverage, and it noted some chains didn't even respond to the survey. That's not transparency, that's a wall. And here's the kicker. Prevention use clauses keep resistance pressure alive, like running a tap at a slow drip all day. You can lower the flow, but the sink still fills. Bottom line, without a public, dated, all-species policy, your taco stays an unknown. Now to a bucket of confusion that still ducks full transparency. Number 4, KFC. You expect a household name to lead. KFC should set the bar. Instead, the rules fade once you step past chicken. Here's the truth. Their commitments lean hard on poultry while leaving pork and beef vague. Policies that allow antibiotics for prevention under veterinary oversight can still greenlight routine dosing. Oversight without strict limits is like leaving the door on a latch. It looks secure, but anything can slip through. Past report cards flagged weak, narrow scope and gave low marks for missing, time-bound, all-species coverage. That matters for you. Without explicit dated rules across every meat, suppliers can keep using drugs while claiming compliance. The reports penalize that lack of a public, comprehensive plan, which tells you enforcement is thin. Bottom line, if it's not explicit and time-stamped, it's not enforceable. Skip the meat until the full plan drops. Now to a chain that improved on chicken, but still leaves other gaps. Number 5, McDonald's. You've heard McDonald's cut antibiotics in chicken. That's real progress. But the story changes once you move to beef and pork. Here's the truth. Beef runs on a longer, messier supply chain with many handoffs, so reforms lag. The report notes poultry gains but flags the rest. It also says McDonald's still allows routine antibiotics for disease prevention in beef and pork, which doesn't prevent antibiotic misuse. That policy keeps the door open. And while the spotlight sits on antibiotics, other growth drugs, hormones, and beta agonists can still be used. It's like locking the front door while the side gate stays open. What do? If you eat here, chicken is likely the lower risk pick based on current rules. Ask about sourcing updates on beef and pork when you order. Now to a brand that resists firm dates while serving millions of burgers. Number 6. Wendy's. You hear fresh, never frozen, so you expect clean meat. But freshness is a temperature claim, not a drug use rule. It says how the patty is stored, not how the animal was raised. Here's the truth. Public timelines for cutting routine antibiotics often aren't there, and verification details are thin. A scorecard put Wendy's on the F list for lacking a clear, public, time-bound policy. That grade reflects scope, dates, and whether an outside audit is on record. When those pieces are missing, suppliers can dose for prevention and still say they comply. It's like locking the door but leaving the window open. What can you do? Treat the label as marketing, not proof. Ask for a posted policy with dates by species and audit details. Bottom line, fresh doesn't equal safer. Risk stays on the plate until the policy shows up. Next up, a king-sized menu with a tiny paper trail. Number 7, Burger King. Big reach, big responsibility. Burger King serves millions, so policy gaps scale fast. Here's the truth. Announcements land, then drift. No firm dates, no full species map. When policies allow prevention use and leave details to supplier discretion, routine dosing can continue behind the scenes. Staggered, non-binding promises earn failing grades because they don't lock beef and pork into clear rules you can check. The report's findings say their practices may allow continued antibiotic use in beef and pork, which can fuel the superbug problem. That narrow scope keeps most diners exposed. It's like posting a speed limit with no patrols. Traffic still flies, and what can you do? Treat the menu as a risk until exact timelines appear by species and drug class with public verification. Bottom line, no deadlines, no coverage, no trust. Until they publish the full plan, it's an F and a pass from your plate. And now, a fast casual favorite with a quiet policy gap. Number 8, Panda Express. You think swapping a burger for a bowl is safer, but the meats in that bowl, mostly chicken and pork, still carry hidden dangers when the rules upstream are weak. Here's the truth. Panda Express doesn't post a clear public antibiotic policy. No dates, no species coverage, no audit trail. When a chain runs heavy on chicken and pork without that roadmap, suppliers can use antibiotics for prevention, which often means routine dosing. That keeps resistance pressure on, dish after dish. It's like turning down the volume without hitting mute. The noise is still there. The research flags failing grades tied to missing time-bound policies you can read and verify. Without posted timelines and third-party checks, you can't see if drug use is limited or banned. Bottom line, stir-fry doesn't wash away risk. Ask for the policy. If they won't show it, you can't judge the safety. Final thought coming, what the grades mean and what you can do. 6 Fs out of 8 isn't noise. It's a pattern, weak rules, vague timelines, and routine drug use that feeds antibiotic resistance for everyone. Here's the truth. You have power. Ask for dated, species-wide bans on routine use, public audits, and plain labels you can read in line. Vote with your order. Pick the few that publish real standards, or go meat-free until they do. That pressure works faster than a press release. Want the truth about what's actually safe? Subscribe now so you won't get fooled. We track the policies, flag the loopholes, and show you where real progress lands next.